Hello there, the world has changed and so have we. Welcome to the new look of CNN News 18. It's brighter, bolder, bigger, and it's the news reset that you need. On Vijay Dashmi, it's time to bring sense and clarity back to television news. Let's get on with the big story that we're tracking right now. On the auspicious occasion of Dussehra, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh performed Shastra Puja at Sukhna War Memorial in Darjeeling. Speaking on the occasion, the Raksha Mantri sent a stern message to China. The Defence Minister also said that India is fully committed to resolving the Indo-China border situation peacefully. Now, a tense confrontation between India and Chinese troops also took place in North Sikkim in early May. Rajnath Singh also inaugurated road projects and strategic bridges built for easy movement of troops and common citizens to border areas. This includes a 19.35-kilometer long alternative highway.
भारत और चीन की सीमा पर भी जो तनाव चल रहा है, भारत तो ये चाहता है कि यह तनाव समाप्त हो, शांति स्थापित हो। जो कुछ भी इंडो चाइना बॉर्डर पर लद्दाख में हुआ है, उसमें मैं कह सकता हूं, निश्चित जानकारी के आधार पर मैं कह रहा हूं कि हमारे भारत की सेना के जवानों ने जिस प्रकार की भूमिका का निर्वाह किया है, आगे यदि इतिहास लिखा जाएगा तो इतिहास लिखने वाला इतिहासज्ञ हमारे भारत के सेना के जवानों के इस शौर्य और पराक्रम की गाथा को स्वर्णाक्षरों में लिखेगा।
Shreya Dhondia, tracking the Defence Ministry, is now joining us with the very latest on this visit of the Raksha Mantri. First of all, Shreya, help us understand the infrastructure development, as many analysts say, is one of the reasons that has actually irked China. That continues at quite some pace in these border areas. Bring us up to speed with some of the latest developments there.
That's absolutely right, Maha. There have been some 54 major projects that have been undertaken by the BRO, and one of them was inaugurated for Sikkim today. Look, the fact is that the Raksha Mantri wanted to send out a message today. He wanted to send out a message to his own soldiers and to China, to his own soldiers, that today is Vijay Dashmi, today is a festival day, today is the day when the goddesses Shastra, which means weapons, are worshipped. And it is on this day that I'm coming to you, bringing the wishes of an entire country to you. So, you know, when a Raksha Mantri comes visiting, I know that part of his visit had to be cancelled because of inclement weather. He couldn't go to Nathula. He was supposed to fly there, interact with soldiers there, do a mini puja there as well. It couldn't happen because his chopper couldn't take off because the weather turned bad. And this is something that often happens in mountainous areas. But the message that needed to be conveyed has been conveyed. It has been conveyed to his own Jawans. It has been conveyed to China as well, Maha, that the standoff has entered the 6th month. The talks are not going anywhere, and our soldiers are right here with political backing, standing up to you. So both those messages, despite the fact that, you know, half his trip had to be cancelled, both those messages have been conveyed.
So Shreya, help us understand, at this juncture, is there only a pause in the situation at the LAC?
Maha, yes. The fact is that there will be an 8th commander, co-commander level meeting. It will possibly happen next month, only after the 2+2 dialogue happens between India and the US. The fact is that in the 7 co-commander level meetings, the talks have not gone anywhere, and there is a reason for it. What China is saying is two things. There are two reasons why these talks are not going anywhere. A, China is saying, let's disengage later, let's de-induct first, which means what they want is artillery and armored, which means big guns and tanks to move backwards first, and then they are saying that troops that are face to face can disengage. India is saying no. The fact is, and you've asked me this first question, the fact is our infrastructure is not as good as China's. That is a fact. That is a reality we have to accept. So in case they need to mobilize their big guns, which is their artillery and their tanks, they can do it very quickly. But if we de-induct, for us to have the sort of deployment we have right now will take time, which is why India is saying no, because the trust deficits are very low. The second point that China is insisting upon is for us to climb down from the strategic heights that we have occupied in South Bank. Again, India is saying, you know, there is a trust deficit. What if we step down and you come back and occupy these heights? So if you're really serious about disengagement, why don't you start at the North Bank? So both sides essentially have dug in their heels. The External Affairs Minister, of course, is saying that there is a secret, confidential deal that is being worked out. Well, I'm sure something is happening, but whatever is happening is not really making a difference on the ground.
All right, Shreya Dhandiyal, many thanks for getting us all those details, putting that into perspective as well. Let's move on now. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat gave his customary Vijay Dashmi address today. Now, speaking at the event, Bhagwat said that India must remain prepared to tackle China and show that it will not bow down to the enemy. He said that the relationship with friendly neighbors like Nepal should be resolved at the earliest. He also raised the anti-CAA issue, which created tension in many parts of the country earlier this year, accusing the anti-CAA protesters of being misguided. Bhagwat said that the act is not meant to target any religious community. The RSS chief reiterated the government's stand that no citizen of the country needs to be worried under the BJP government.
अपने पड़ोसी देशों में 2-3 देश ऐसे हैं जहां पर सांप्रदायिक कारणों से उस देश के निवासियों को प्रताड़ित किया जाने का इतिहास है और उन लोगों को जाने के लिए दूसरी जगह नहीं, वो भारत में आते हैं। तो वहां से विस्थापित पीड़ित होकर आते हैं, यहां पर वो जल्दी बच जाए, ठीक से बच जाए, इसलिए उस अधिनियम में कुछ संशोधन करने का वो प्रावधान था। जो भारत के नागरिक है उनके लिए उसमें कुछ खतरा नहीं था।
Political editor Maria Shakil is now joining us with more details on this. Maria, almost half the year down the line, but it appears that the issue of CAA continues to remain one of the focal points on how to dispel, if at all, that the BJP says myths surrounding it.
Yes, that's right. The RSS chief essentially talked about how there was misinformation and misgivings around it. This is complete misplaced fear which was generated in the name of protests, because we did see massive CA protests take place in the winter months of 2019, Maha, and that it led to chaos and law and order situations in several states, including the state of Uttar Pradesh and Delhi as well. So certainly Mohan Bhagwat talking about it and mentioning how Citizenship Amendment Act was not against a particular community, that it was not anti-Muslims, that if anything it was about welcoming minorities who had been persecuted, religious minorities persecuted in the neighboring states of in neighboring countries of India, and hence India should be more encompassing, more welcoming of that, rather than the nature of protest that was generated. According to him, that this was essentially some kind of conspiracy that unleashed in the name of protests.
And this conspiracy is the government, is the BJP, or even the RSS for that matter of fact, do they believe that this conspiracy is a political one?
Well, as far we saw that, Maha, the argument of the BJP then was, and the government, that there was a larger conspiracy to defame India, that to show that India was anti-minorities, and that is what played out when those protests took place. And then we saw what happened in Shaheen Bagh when the protest elaborated, and it continued for weeks together, when women of Shaheen Bagh continued their protest, and they ended only after just before the Delhi elections. So that is the reason why the BJP and the government has been saying that they did reach out to the women, they did reach out to the protesters to really clear the doubt that this was not against the Muslims living in India, that if anything this was more about welcoming those who have been persecuted outside, and it should be seen from that prism and not this. If you remember, this, a number of members of parliament, including Mahua Moitra and others, had taken this entire battle to the Supreme Court. They did not get any relief from the Supreme Court either. So that is what the government has been saying, that this legislation was the need of the hour, and it has nothing to do with a particular community within the country.
All right. All right, Maria, also, the fact is that there has been a lot of a response from the opposition, also Rahul Gandhi and others talking about it as well. Can you help us understand what kind of response are we expecting from the BJP to this?
Well, as far as Rahul Gandhi's tweet that has just been put out, that relates to China, Maha, and that is what really is happening. You know, he is taking a dig at what and he essentially says, deep inside, Mr. Bhagwat knows the truth. He's just scared to face it. Sarsang Chalak's original quote is of a completely different nature, and that is what the BJP says, that perhaps there is some kind of misunderstanding that the Congress former chief has to what Sarsang Chalak said. He talked about how India is in a position to protect its territorial integrity, and that India doesn't believe in expansionism, but when it is an expansionist neighbor, it knows how to defend its own borders. And that is what is happening now. This is going to be the new, the direction, or should I say, the new flashpoint between the opposition, particularly the Congress and the BJP, because Rahul Gandhi in the last few months has been repeatedly questioning the government on China, essentially saying that several square kilometers of land has been acquired by Chinese, and the government of India has much to explain. The government on its part repeatedly, the Home Minister, the Defense Minister, all of them have said that there is not even an inch that is there with China. If anything, government of India and its army has managed to not only show China its place, but also taken vantage points, taken one vantage position along the LAC.
All right, Maria May, thanks for putting all that into perspective from CAA, the issue of CAA, and also what Mohan Bhagwat said about China and the response from the opposition to that as well. Let's move on now. Addressing the nation on the occasion of Dussehra, Prime Minister Modi urged for restraint to contain the coronavirus. Paying his respect to the soldiers patrolling the borders, the Prime Minister asked citizens to light a diya for them, pushing for vocal for local campaign, which was in fact renewed with optimism. The Prime Minister said that citizens should buy indigenous products this festive season. Promoting Khadi as a world-class brand, the Prime Minister urged citizens to purchase organic clothing. He also cited CNN News 18's India Positive story of Pulwama's pencil factory. Hailing the exemplary entrepreneurship of Manzoor Ahmad, the Prime Minister congratulated this Pulwama factory for its 90% contribution in the country's pencil production.
कश्मीर का पुलवामा पूरे देश को पढ़ाने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रहा है। आज देश भर में बच्चे अपना होमवर्क करते हैं, नोट्स बनाते हैं, तो कहीं न कहीं इसके पीछे पुलवामा के लोगों की कड़ी मेहनत भी है। कश्मीर घाटी पूरे देश की करीब-करीब 90% पेंसिल स्लेट लकड़ी की पट्टी की मांग को पूरा करती है, और उसमें बहुत बड़ी हिस्सेदारी पुलवामा की है। एक समय में हम लोग विदेशों से पेंसिल के लिए लकड़ी मंगाते थे, लेकिन अब हमारा पुलवामा इस क्षेत्र से देश को आत्मनिर्भर बना रहा है।
Our Jammu and Kashmir Bureau Chief Mufti Islah is now joining us with more details on this. Mufti, what are some of the reactions that you've got, considering the Prime Minister has lauded the effort of the people in Pulwama as far as pencil production is concerned?
Oh, it's a huge encouragement for people who own this factory, and also the workers, some 300 workers, 150 of them non-locals and 150 locals, Kashmiri, who are some of them educated and some of them illiterate, but it's kind of generated a lot of employment in that area. And Prime Minister's words really coming as a huge encouragement. All these people, it's a kind of a red letter day for the owner. We spoke to him and he was extremely happy that his work has been noticed. But all he was saying was that this is the first kind of a project which is local, and there are a lot of willows around. And they use that to make that pencil slates. Although the second stage of this processing unit is when he will deliver the polished pencil, that is something he's waiting for, and he's applied for that. This time around, they take these pencil slates to Jammu area, which is called Bari Brahmana. It's an industrial area where the finished product of pencils are then distributed. Clearly, this gentleman saying that he needs now, both blessings of Prime Minister as well as others, so that he is able to make now the second stage of this processing unit, for which he has already applied, so that he will be able to generate a lot of employment. He says that he requires for that some 50 canals of land, which is roughly 6 acres. And after that, he will be extremely helpful to all those jobless people who surround this particular village called Ok in Pulwama.
All right. Many thanks, Mufti, for joining us with those details. In fact, Mufti had brought us that story from Pulwama, and here's that report that was, in fact, taken cognizance of by the Prime Minister, and he lauded the efforts of the people in militancy-hit district of Pulwama, which is literally rewriting history.
In this small village of Pulwama, millions of poplar slates are stacked and dried in the sun before being couriered to Jammu. The slates will end up as pencils, the most powerful tools in the hands of children.
At 13 crores in Anam, this project is already a money spinner. But what is important is that it is providing employment to 250 people, including half of them non-Kashmiris. But what is going to be more important is that it's going to take employment level to almost thrice than present.
Skilled labour from Kashmir and as far as Bihar, West Bengal and Assam make a living from this unit despite the drawbacks of COVID and the overall situation in the valley.
हम यहाँ पे लगभग 7,000 कमाते हैं महीने में, तो हम यहाँ पे लगभग 50-60 लड़कियाँ हैं यहाँ पे हमें रोज़गार में, हम गरीब घरों से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, हमें यहाँ पे रोज़गार मिलता है। आजकल बहुत सारा पढ़ते लिखते हैं फिर भी जॉब नहीं मिलता है, यहाँ पे हमें आराम से रोज़गार मिलता है।
यहाँ बहुत सारे बंदे हैं, तकरीबन यहाँ 200 बंदा है, काम करते हैं हम फैक्ट्री में। फैक्ट्री में ना काम करते मेरे को 7 साल हो गया है इसी फैक्ट्री में। जो हम यहाँ आसाम के हैं 150 बंदा है, 150 अच्छा ही मिल रहा है सर, हमारा इसी से चल रहा है सर घर।
The factory started 8 years ago and is now a 10 crore worth unit. Teething problems like erratic electricity, absence of skilled labour and the harsh winter are now a thing of the past. The management is contemplating starting phase 2 of the project in a few years.
गवर्नमेंट से रुजू करते हैं वक्तन फ़ौक़तन, उनका भी बहुत ही मतलब इसमें वो हौसला अफ़ज़ा बात वो भी कर रहे हैं, मतलब तो उनको लगा कि नहीं जी ये एक अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है कौम के लिए, आवाम के लिए, कि इनको यहाँ रोज़गार के फ़ायदे इससे मिल सकते हैं। हम जैसे बहुत से पढ़े लिखे बेरोज़गार नौजवानों के लिए रोज़गार का मतलब मौका फराहम किया।
The success story is bound to get bigger and better. In Pulwama with Mufti Islah and video journalist Bashir Lone, Vaibhav Verma for CNN News 18.
And days after a 6-year-old Dalit child was raped and killed in Punjab's Hoshiarpur, a political war of words has erupted. After the Gandhis don't care, Rahul Gandhi has launched a scathing counter, hitting back at the BJP for comparing the Congress's purported silence on the case with what happened in Hathras. Rahul Gandhi said that unlike the Uttar Pradesh government, the Punjab government is not living in denial. He said that the governments of Punjab and Rajasthan are not trying to block justice like UP government, and not only that, he vowed to go there and fight for justice if the state governments fail on delivering it. And comparing the two cases, Nirmala Sitharaman had questioned as to why, and she's used the word picnic was being organized by the Congress leaders to meet the kin of the rape victim.
The rape in Hoshiarpur and the complete silence of the Congress party, a 6-year-old child of a migrant laborer from Bihar, Dalit, is raped, is killed, body half burnt, and it doesn't shake the conscience of the brother and sister pair who rush to every other chosen site which they think can help them politically.
That was the allegation that was made against Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi by the BJP. Let me bring in senior editor Pallavi Ghosh for more on that. Pallavi, the attack by Nirmala Sitharaman was both against Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi has responded to that, saying that the Punjab government is not blocking justice. What about Priyanka Gandhi? Is she likely to follow suit, coming out with some sort of sharp response to that as well?
Well, it's been 24 hours. She hasn't really, but yesterday's press conference by the Congress party, where they came out with a fact sheet comparing the Hoshiarpur case and the Hathras case, also had the Priyanka Gandhi Vadra element in it. See, their stand has been very simple, and we have been asking this question also to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra after the Hathras issue. Like, remember that rape happened in Rajasthan? She said, we don't make any differences between rape. The only difference between this and the other cases is that, at least in this case, there was a definite cover-up attempt which was being made by the state administration as well as by the state police. And therefore, that is something which are fighting against, unacceptable. And Rahul Gandhi also referred to that in his tweet, really, Maha, when he said, if this is what happens in a Congress ruled state, I will not even hesitate to go there.
Right, Pallavi, but is it worrying the fact that rape cases such as these, heinous ones at that, of minors being raped and killed, is becoming a political issue, and that could sometimes be a hindrance in getting justice? Or do they feel that justice will be achieved by making an issue so sensitive political in nature?
Well, frankly speaking, it works both ways, Maha. I mean, I remember the protests after Nirbhaya, and they were very justified also. That actually led up to the government coming out with a stronger anti-rape laws. So, those kind of protests by political parties really did work. But, after that, has anything changed? Well, the mindset hasn't changed. The response of the state administrations and cutting across party lines very often doesn't change. See, frankly speaking, rapes are something which also happens because of a negative mindset or a debauched mindset of men. Some of the men who are indulging in it. But what is it that the government can do? Well, the government can send out a tough message that, action is going to be taken immediately. It's a no-nonsense zone. We are not going to tolerate it at all. And that's been a criticism in the case of some states, whether it's been Uttar Pradesh or in some other states as well.
All right, Pallavi, many thanks for joining us with all those details. Let's now talk about the air quality level in Delhi, which is in the very poor category even today, as the overall air quality index was recorded at 338. Now, according to the SAFA's forecast, PM10 pollutants in Delhi were recorded at 304, which comes under the very poor, category, and PM 2.5 pollutants were recorded at 169, which comes under the very poor category. The Air Monitoring Agency, however, has predicted an improvement in air quality in the coming week.
Delhi NCR continues to choke as the overall air quality index in Delhi is 353 in the very poor category, inching close to the severe category. I'm currently at Rajpath, and a thin layer of smog and haze has engulfed North Block and South Block as well. Well, the condition is likely to worsen in the coming days after witnessing a marginal relief in the overall air quality index because of favorable meteorological conditions like high wind speed. But once again, the condition might deteriorate. But people at all times are required to embrace all the important precautions. Masks must not be removed, and people must venture out only when it's extremely important, because the air in Delhi NCR is consistently worsening, which may add to a number of respiratory ailments.
A quick check now of some of the other stories that we're tracking. India continues to maintain the numbers of active cases below the 7 lakh mark for the second consecutive day. The total number of recoveries has crossed the 70 lakh.